Hello everyone. Today, we will be learning about one of the most arguable theories known to man, time travel. Before we get into the possibilities of time travel, you must understand how it works and the paradoxes that disprove of this method of transportation. 1. The grandfather paradox. This paradox questions the fact that if you were to time travel back in time to kill your grandfather before he had children, you would never be born to make a time machine in the present. This in turn would mean the grandfather would never die due to no time traveler, and due to its complexity, this scenario is deemed a paradox. Number 2. A separate timeline. This theory suggests that when you go back in time, you are altering the past, thus you are not going back in time, but into a separate timeline where the only difference is that you are present, breathing air that wasn't meant to be breathed. This means, if you were to go back in time to kill your grandfather, nothing would happen as that grandfather is not the same man of your timeline. This means you will be forever stuck in this timeline, and even if you were to travel back into the present, you will only witness the everyday life you once had without you. There is no possible way to escape this timeline. Number 3. The H.G. Wells theory. H.G. Wells, the author of The Time Machine, proves time travel to be real through math. As we all know, a cube has 3 dimensions: length, width, and height. Without one of these elements, a cube cannot exist. However, is it possible to have a cube that lasts for no time at all? This is obviously no, but this therefore claims that time is simply a 4th dimension. Although this proves time to be a dimension, but does not admit to time travel. That is where most people are wrong. It is easy to move left, right, backwards, and forwards, but moving up and down have limits. Humans countered this problem by creating balloons, which allow moving up and down much easier. Humans are moving at the same speed as time, and if it was possible to defy gravity, it is definitely possible to create a machine that defies time. These are only 3 out of many theories and contradictions in time travel. But now it is time to move on to the evidence in time travel. The lady in The Circus. In the Charlie Chaplin black and white silent film, The Circus, there is a woman holding a cell phone in one of the scenes. This is long before the first cell phone was made, and besides the cellular device, there is no other object that seems relative to be put against the ear in such an odd fashion. The hipster time traveler. There is not much information on this picture besides the fact that it was taken in the 1920s, but the man highlighted seems very odd in the setting and seems to wear a branded shirt that seems of modern day. Andrew Basiago. Andrew Basiago claims that his father worked for Secret Services, who sent him back in time to witness Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. Here is a video of him being interviewed.
Willis movie Looper opens this weekend, and in which Willis's character is sent back in time to kill himself. Well, most scientists say time travel isn't possible.
But a Washington attorney claims he's done it dozens of times as part of a secret Cold War project. KOMO 4's Matt Markovich has his story.
We eliminate people from the future.
In the movie Looper, Bruce Willis is hunted down by a younger version of himself.
Time travel has not yet been invented, but 30 years from now, it will have been.
Time travel, Hollywood science fiction? Or is it?
I have physically traveled in time.
Andrew Basiago is not acting.
We have. We did over 40 years ago.
Fascinating.
The Vancouver, Washington attorney is on a mission to reveal what he calls a 40-year government cover-up of Project Pegasus.
Piece of them anyway.
Where he says he was teleported back and sideways in time dozens of times.
It would be a fascinating project.
I have the whole story. I have hundreds of facts. I can tell you what personnel were at what locations where which time travel device was being used.
And his time travel wasn't recent. It was when he was a kid.
I entered the program officially in the fall of 1969 as a 3rd grader, age 7.
One of 140 kids, 60 adults, chrononauts as he calls them, including his dad, who joined him on his first jump.
My dad held my hand and we jumped through the field of energy And we seemed to be moving very rapidly. But there was also a paradox. We seemed to be going nowhere at all.
Hold on tight, son.
The TV show Fringe aired a similar scene 2 years ago. Coincidence?
Did it?
There's paradoxes, unscientific claims, unbelievable stories and encounters on Earth and Mars. Meeting Barack Obama when the president was a teenager with a different name.
Fascinating.
Time traveling 6 times to the Ford Theater on the day President Lincoln was shot, but he didn't see it happen. And we're not done with Lincoln.
In fact, during one probe, the one to the Gettysburg Address, I was dressed as a Union Bugle Boy.
That's right, he was at the Gettysburg Address. He says this famous picture taken that day proves it. He says this Bugle Boy is him. It's the only visual evidence he provides for any of his travels. That's it.
I was physically at Gettysburg.
Crazy way to travel, spreading a man's molecules all over the universe.
And what about that teleportation? He says Star Trek got it wrong. So Andy, I just got here via Star Trek teleportation, but that's not how you did it.
No, in fact, if you had just arrived via quantum teleportation, the Star Trek method of teleportation, you would have collapsed as a dead person.
Bashago weaves his tale with such conviction, I thought he's either a psychopathic liar, lunatic, or the fastest thinking science fiction writer on Earth.
A tunnel was opening up in time-space, just like you'd have a cavity inside a soap bubble being blown by a child. And when that bubble closed, we had been repositioned elsewhere in time-space on the face of the Earth.
Some would say Bashago is still living in a bubble, but he's put his professional reputation at risk claiming time travel isn't science fiction. He did it.
Please, Spock, do me a favor. And don't say it's fascinating. No. But it is interesting.
Matt Markovich, Como 4 News.
It was hard for us to confirm any of Andrew's claims. Still, he says many out there say they believe Project Pegasus was real.
That's it for now. And remember,
We are the conspiracy.